Hello and welcome. It is April 16th of 1969, and the Cubs, after finishing up a disappointing 2-6 homestand, are now going to go on the road for 6 games, starting out with 2 in St. Louis. It'll be followed up with 3 in Montreal against the expansion Expos, and then 2 games in Pittsburgh, a doubleheader next Tuesday. So right now, we're going to go to St. Louis and face the defending National League champions St. Louis Cardinals for a 2-game series. Today's game is going to feature the Cubs sending starter Dick Selma out to the mound. He is making start number 2. He is 1-0 with 6.75 ERA and a 150 whip. The Cubs lineup today will be Kessinger, Williams, Santo, Hickman, Banks, Beckert, Hundley, Phillips, and the pitcher Selma batting 9th. The Cardinals are going to send pitcher Ray Washburn out to the mound. He is 1-0, making his second start of the season. He is at a 4.26 ERA with a 2.05 whip. And the Cardinals lineup will include former Cub Lou Brock, Curt Flood, Joe Haig, Byron Brown, Joe Torre, Mike Shannon, Dahl Maxville, Bob Sandowski, and then the pitcher Washburn batting 9th. So the temperature is 51 degrees in St. Louis today, wind blowing right to left at 11 mph. And let's get this game started. Historic rivalry here between the Cubs and Cardinals, playing out again today in St. Louis. The Cubs sending Kessinger up to the plate, to face the pitcher on the mound, Washburn, who is finishing his warm-up pitches. Kessinger, leadoff hitter for the Cubs, waiting for the 3-1 pitch. Cubs coming in with a 2-6 record, and St. Louis coming in with a 4-4 record. So on the mound is the pitcher, Washburn. He is looking for the sign. Kessinger standing in patiently, waiting for the pitch. And here it comes. That is inside. It is ball 4. So Kessinger heads down to first. And now Billy Williams is the batter. Nobody out. Runner on first. And Washburn working. The runner takes off. He goes down to second. He slides. And the throw is in time, so Kessinger is out. He is thrown out trying to steal second, and Billy Williams is now batting with 1 out and nobody on base. Here's a 3-0 pitch to Billy Williams. Here it comes. That's a check swing, and it is ball 4. So 2 walks are issued. However, there is 1 out, 1 man on for Ron Santo. And Santo facing Washburn with a full count. And that's a liner up the middle. That's going to be a base hit for Santo. Williams hesitates slightly, but he stops at second as Santo gets a single, and it brings up Jim Hickman. 1 out, 2 men on. First pitch to Hickman. Grounder toward third. Picked up. Throws over to second. The relay to first. And that is a 5-4-3 double play. So the Cubs strand a runner. They do not score. We're going to the bottom of the first of a 0-0 ball game. Selma will face Lou Brock here in the bottom of the first inning. Selma working. This is his first pitch to Brock. Liner up the middle. That's going to be another base hit. Coming in fast is Adolfo Phillips, but he cannot make the play in time. So Phillips gets the ball back into the infield. Brock stops at first, and it brings up Curt Flood. Nobody out. 1 man on. And Brock takes off. He's trying to steal second. The throw goes down to second, and Hundley guns him down at second base. So Brock is thrown out attempting to steal. That's a pretty rare occurrence all in its own right. And now Flood batting with 1 out and nobody on. Here's a full count pitch to Curt Flood. And that is strike 3 called, a fastball knee high on the outside corner. So Selma gets his first strikeout of the game, and it brings up Joe Haug. 2 outs, nobody on. Here's a 1-ball count and the pitch. Grounder towards second. Beckert picks it up, throws over to first, and that is out number 3. So Selma faces the minimum. We're going to the top of the second of a 0-0 game. Ernie Banks leading off for the Cubs here in the top of the second. Here's a 1-strike count, and Banks waiting for the pitch. Liner up the middle. Banks has a base hit. He's starting to warm up a little bit here after a very slow start. He has a single to lead off for the Cubs in the top of the second. Brings up Glenn Beckert. Nobody out. Runner on first. Beckert waiting for the first pitch. Here it comes. Grounder towards short. Picked up, thrown over to second. Banks, however, breaks up the double play, and so only 1 out is recorded. Beckert is safe on first on the fielder's choice, and it brings up Randy Hundley. 1 out, 1 man on. Scoreless game. First pitch to Randy Hundley. Grounded towards short. Thrown to second. This time the relay goes to first, and the Cardinals turn the 6-4-3 double play. So the Cubs do not score. We're going to the bottom of the second inning of a scoreless game. Byron Brown leading off for the Cardinals against Dick Selma in the bottom of the second. Here's a 1-strike count, and the pitch to Brown. Popped up. Foul territory. The second baseman coming over, actually making the catch right on the line for out number 1. Joe Torre now the batter. He looks like he is going to get the first pitch from Selma, and there's a liner up the middle. That is a single for Torre, and that is a 1-out base hit for the Cardinals. So Shannon now the batter with 1 out, 1 man on. Mike Shannon waiting for the full count pitch. That is inside from Selma. It is ball 4. So he draws the walk, and now Maxville is the batter with 1 out and 2 men on. Here's a 1-ball count, and Selma with the pitch. Grounder toward first. Banks picks it up, steps on the base, and then throws to second. That is going to be 1 out recorded. However, at second, they had to tag the runner, and the tag was late. So Sadowski is now going to bat with 2 outs and runners on second and third. Sadowski facing Selma with a 1-2 count. And here's the pitch. Liner into the gap in left center field. This is going to drive in 2. It'll be extra bases for Sadowski. 1 run is in. The second run scores. Sadowski heading for third. He's attempting to stretch it to a triple, and he manages to do that. So a 2-out RBI triple off the Dick Selma pitch. And now Sadowski has put the Cardinals up 2-0. Washburn is the batter with 2 outs and a runner on third. Here's a 2-2 count and the pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3. So Selma strikes out the pitcher to end the inning. The Cardinals score twice. We're going to the top of the third of a 2-0 St. Louis lead. Adolfo Phillips is going to lead off for the Cubs in the top of the third inning. Here's a 1-2 count. Washburn working. Here's the pitch. Check swing, strike 3, and Phillips is rung up for the first out of the inning. Dick Selma now the batter with 1 out, nobody on. Here's the first pitch to Dick Selma. He pops that one up to right field. This is going to be playable. Heading over to his right is the right fielder, and Brown makes the catch for out number 2. Kessinger now batting, 2 outs and nobody on. Here's a full count pitch to Don Kessinger, and he grounds it to third. Oh, and the third baseman kicks it. He kicks it, and it gets away from him. So Shannon makes the error. Kessinger safe on first, and it brings up Billy Williams. 2 outs, 1 man on. 1-ball count to Billy Williams, and he pops that one up. The catcher pops up, and Torrey makes the catch for out number 3. So the Cubs strand a runner. We're going to the bottom of the third of a 2-0 ball game. Selma is going to face Lou Brock to lead off the Cardinals half of the third. Here's a 2-2 count and a liner into left field. Williams on the run, making the catch for out number 1. Kurt Flood now the batter, 1 out and nobody on. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Kurt Flood, and there's a liner into right field. Hickman coming in, he plays it on the hop and gets the ball back in quickly. That is a single for Kurt Flood. Joe Haug now the batter, 1 out, 1 man on. 2-2 count from Selma, and here is the pitch. Grounder toward short, Kessinger to Beckert to Banks, and that is going to end the inning. 6-4-3 is the double play, and the Cubs get out of the inning. We're going to the top of the fourth of a 2-0 ball game. Washburn facing Sano in the top of the fourth inning. Washburn working, 1-2 count, and there's a grounder toward third. Picked up by Shannon, throws over to first, and this time the out is recorded. It is number 1 in the top of the 4th inning. Jim Hickman now the batter. 1 out and nobody on. Here's a 2-2 pitch from Washburn to Hickman. And there's a liner into the gap in right center field. However, a diving play by Curt Flood, and he makes the catch for out number 2. Flood appears to be in pain. The trainer comes out to talk to him, but Flood tells him to go back to the dugout. So he stays in the game, and it brings up Ernie Banks. Banks is 1 for 1 today with 2 outs and nobody on. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Ernie Banks. Grounder up the middle. Second baseman has it. Throws over to first, and that is out number 3. The Cubs, retired in order, we're going to the bottom of the 4th of a 2-0 Cardinal lead. Brown facing Selma to lead off the Cardinals half of the 4th. Here's a 1-2 count, and Selma with the pitch. Grounder up the middle. Selma picks it up, throws to Banks, and that is out number 1. Torrey now the batter with 1 out and nobody on. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Joe Torrey. Swing and a miss for strike 3. And Selma rushed a fastball up there at 94. Records his 3rd strikeout of the game. Mike Shannon now the batter. 2 outs and nobody on. Here's a full count pitch to Mike Shannon. There's a grounder to the 3rd. Santo picks it up, throws over to Banks, and that will end the inning. So that ground out is scored 5-3. We go to the top of the 5th of a 2-0 Cardinal lead. Glenn Beckert is going to lead off for the Cubs in the top of the 5th inning. Facing Washburn, 1 strike count. Beckert waiting for the pitch. Lined into center field, coming in fast and making the catch is Curt Flood for out number 1. Hundley now batting with 1 out and nobody on. Here's a 2-2 count, and Hundley waiting for the pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3. So Washburn throws the fastball by him, and that is out number 2. Adolfo Phillips now the batter. 2 outs, nobody on. Phillips 0 for 1 on the day, and here's a 1-ball pitch. Phillips grounds that one out in front of the plate. The catcher Torrey picks it up, throws down to first, and that will retire the side. Going to the bottom of the 5th, it's a 2-0 ball game. Maxville facing Selma in the Cardinals half of the 5th inning. Here's a full count, and Selma with the pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3. So Maxville strikes out. He is victim number 4 on the day for Selma. And Sadowski is the next batter. 1 out, nobody on. Here's a 2-strike count, and the pitch from Selma. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Selma gets him with a fastball, and it brings up the pitcher Washburn. 5 strikeouts on the day for Selma. Full count pitch, Selma, and he throws another fastball right past a batter. So that's 3 strikeouts in the inning. The Cardinals do not score. We're going to the top of the 6th of a 2-0 ball game. And Selma is leading off for the Cubs here in the top of the 6th inning, facing Washburn. 3-1 count, Selma waiting for the pitch. That is low. It is ball 4, so Selma draws the walk. And now Don Kessinger, top of the Cubs lineup, coming up right here. Nobody out, runner on first. Here's a 1-2 count, and the pitch to Kessinger popped up on foul territory, 3rd base side. Kessinger is retired for out number 1. Billy Williams now the batter. 1 out and 1 man on. Here's a 1-2 count, and the pitch to Billy Williams. And he pops that one up to center field. Flood adjusting a few steps to his right, and he makes the catch for out number 2. So Selma's still standing on first. Santo now the batter. 2 outs. Top of the 6th inning. Full count pitch to Santo. And he draws the walk. So he heads down to first. That is ball 4. The Cubs now have 2 men on. 2 outs, and Jim Hickman is the batter. Hickman facing Washburn. 0 for 2 today. 1-2 count, and Hickman swings and misses at a pitch that was outside. That is strike 3. So the Cubs strand 2. They do not score. We're going to the bottom of the 6th of a 2-0 ball game. Selma facing the top of the Cardinal lineup in the bottom of the 6th inning. Here's a 3-1 count, and Brock drills that one straightaway center field. Going back is Phillips. Oh, but he makes the catch on the warning track for out number 1. Man, Brock got all that one. He was just a few feet short of a home run. Curt Flood now batting. 1 out, nobody on. Here's a 2-2 pitch to Curt Flood. Grounder up the middle. Kessinger has it. Throws to Banks. That is out number 2. Joe Haig now the batter. 2 outs and nobody on. Here's a 2-2 count and the pitch to Joe Haig. And a swing and a miss for strike 3. So Selma strikes him out to end the inning. We're going to the top of the 7th. It is a 2-0 St. Louis lead. Ernie Banks is going to lead off against Washburn. He is 1 for 2 today. Top of the 7th inning. 1 ball count. Banks waiting for the pitch. He lines that one past the shortstop into left field for a leadoff single. So Banks stops on first. The Cubs have the leadoff runner on with Glenn Beckert now coming up to bat. Nobody out. Banks on first. Here's a 1 ball count and the pitch to Beckert. And here it comes. Grounder up the middle. Second baseman has it. Throws to short. But there's no relay to first, so Beckert is safe. A hard slide by Banks breaks up the double play. That's the second time he's done that today. And now Randy Hundley will bat. With 1 out, 1 man on. Cubs down by 2. First pitch. Randy Hundley grounds up the middle. The shortstop has it. He flips to second, but the second baseman drops it. So the double play isn't executed. Actually, everybody is safe. Beckert safe on second, Handley safe on first, and it brings up Adolfo Phillips. Cubs looking to rally here in the top of the 7th inning. 1 out, 2 men on. And there's going to be a reliever getting up in the Cubs bullpen. This is going to be... Oh, hang on a second. That's the wrong bullpen. If we look at the Cubs bullpen, we see that Archie Reynolds is going to warm up in the Cub bullpen to potentially come in and pitch in the 7th inning. So Adolfo Phillips now with 1 out and 2 men on with an 0-2 count, and Phillips pops that one up deep center field, going back his flood to the warning track, and he makes the catch for out number 2. The runners have to go back. They're not able to tag up in advance, and now Dick Selma, the pitcher, is batting. Now Selma is going to be substituted for a pinch hitter, and this is going to be the lefty Willie Smith facing the righty Washburn here in the top of the 7th inning. 2 men on, 2 out. Smith coming up in a critical situation for the Cubs. Here's a 1 ball count. Smith waiting for the pitch. He pops that one up shallow center field. Actually, the second baseman going out, and he makes the play for out number 3. So the Cubs do not score. They strand 2. We're going to the bottom of the 7th of a 2-0 ball game. Archie Reynolds is going to come in as Smith will stay in at first. And Reynolds is going to come into the number 8 spot and pitch. I guess this might be considered a triple switch. And James Burnett is going to come in and play center field for the Cubs and bat 5th. So now Reynolds is the new pitcher for the Cubs. He's thrown 5 1/3 innings, no walks, 5 strikeouts, and a 1.69 ERA. He is going to face Brown, Torrey, and Shannon here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Here's a full count. Archie Reynolds working with the pitch. Popped up right field. Hickman coming in. He gets under it, and he makes the catch for out number 1. Torrey now the batter with 1 out and nobody on. 1-1 count. Joe Torrey waiting for the pitch. And that's a liner into the gap in right center field. That's going to be extra bases for Joe Torrey. He rounds first, heading for second. The outfielders seem very slow to react to that. The catcher, Torrey, heading for third. He wants to get a triple. He slides, and he is safe. So the Cubs allow the catcher, Torrey, to get a triple with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th inning. I don't know. That might be the first triple in his career. I don't even know. So Shannon now the batter. 1 out, 1 man on. Reynolds facing Shannon. Cubs down by 2. Here's a full count pitch. Grounder up the middle. Kessinger has it. Throws over to first. They concede the run, and that is out number 2. So the Cardinals now have a 3-0 lead. Maxville, the batter. I don't know why Kessinger didn't at least try to throw that home, but Maxville facing Reynolds. 2 outs and nobody on. Here's a full count pitch. And popped up to right. Hickman again heading to his right. and making the catch. That is out number 3. So the Cubs allow the Cardinals to score their 3rd run of the game. We're going to the top of the 8th of a 3-0 St. Louis lead. Kessinger, representing the top of the Cubs lineup, is going to lead off for the Cubs in the top of the 8th inning. He's facing Washburn, who's working on a shutout right now. 2-2 count. Kessinger waiting for the pitch. Liner into left field. Is that going to drop for a base hit? No. No, it's not, as Lou Brock makes the catch for out number 1. Billy Williams now the batter. 1 out, nobody on. Williams waiting for the pitch. Here it comes. Popped up to center field. Coming in is Curt Flood. He's on the run, and he makes the catch for out number 2. Santo now batting. 2 outs and nobody on. Santo facing Washburn with a 2-1 count. Here's the pitch. Grounder towards short. Picked up. Thrown over to first, and that will end the inning. So the Cubs go to the bottom of the 8th inning, trailing the Cardinals 3-0. Reynolds is going to work inning number 2 in relief. He allowed a run in the last inning. He's going to face Sadowski now to lead off the Cardinals half of the 8th. Here's a 1-2 count, and Reynolds with the pitch. Strike 3 called. Reynolds gets the strikeout with the changeup, and it brings up Washburn. 1 out, nobody on. Washburn batting for himself here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Here's the first pitch, and Washburn is hitting the knee. Wow, I don't think there's any way that Reynolds intended to do that, but he just put the pitcher on first with 1 out, and it brings up Lou Brock. 1 ball count. Brock lines a single into right field as Hickman plays it on a hop. The pitcher is rounding second and heading for third. Apparently that hit by pitch didn't slow him down at all. He slides in safely to third, and Reynolds now facing Curt Flood with runners on the corners and 1 out. And the Cubs bullpen is going to become active once again, as we are going to see Dick LeMay. No, we're going to see Joe Decker warm up in this situation. Visit the mound, and Reynolds says he's perfectly fine, let me pitch. So Flood facing Reynolds with 1 out, runners on the corners. Here's a 2-2 count, and the pitch from Reynolds. Grounder up the middle. Beckert has it. Flips to short. No relay to first, however, as the double play is broken up. Washburn will score. The Cardinals now have a 4-0 lead. And Reynolds facing Haig with 2 outs. Runner on first. Another run is in. First pitch from Reynolds. Lined into right field. That's going to be another base hit. Going all the way to the wall this time. Is this runner going to try to score? He's rounding third. He's coming home. The throw comes home. No, the throw goes to the cutoff man. Excuse me. So Flood scores from first. The Cardinals now have a 5-0 lead. And Joe Decker is going to be brought in to face Brown here in the bottom of the 8th inning. So Decker is going to be the new pitcher. He is going to face Brown with 2 outs, 1 man on, 2 runs already in. Cubs bullpen not very effective today. Decker has thrown 5 innings, allowed 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, 3.60 ERA. Reynolds is still responsible for Haig out at second. Here's a 2-2 count, and Decker with the pitch. Grounder towards second. Beckert has it, throws over to first, and that will retire the side. So the Cardinals score twice. We're going to the top of the 9th of a 5-0 ball game. Hickman is going to lead off for the Cubs against Washburn in the top of the 9th. Here's a full count pitch as Washburn is working. And that is strike 3 called on the outside corner. So Burnett now batting with 1 out and nobody on. Cubs down by 5. Here's a 2-1 count. And that's a liner up the middle. That's going to be a base hit for Burnett. He's the defensive replacement in center field. And he gets a 1 out single here in the top of the 9th, bringing up Glenn Beckert. 1 out, 1 man on. Here's a 1-strike pitch to Glenn Beckert. And here it comes. Liner towards short. Picked up, thrown over to second. The relay to first, and the 6-4-3 twin killing is going to end the game. So the Cubs lose this game 5-0. Washburn pitched a 4-hit shutout as the Cubs get No runs, 4 hits, no errors. The Cardinals get 5 runs on 7 hits with 2 errors. The Cubs drop to 2-7 as the Cardinals improve to 5-4. Washburn gets his second win. He goes to 2-0. 9 hits, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, and the player of the game honors for this day. Selma drops this decision. He drops to 1-1. He threw 6 innings of 4-hit, 2-run baseball with 1 walk and 7 strikeouts. Reynolds allowed 3 runs in the 7th and 8th innings of work, and the Cubs lose 5-0. Thank you for watching Cubs Baseball.